I'm going to start my talk today by presenting you what our ISV Technical Enablement program is about and what I do and what some of my colleagues do as well. But first of all, we actually have a small challenge. And the person that can actually provide me the best description or definition of what I'm going to show on the next slide will win a small prize. So let me just start off by doing that. So, anyone can answer or tell me what this is? The closest answer will win the prize.
Your house.
No, keep trying, keep trying. Think back. Look at the quality of the graphics there.
Mark Benioff's house.
Okay, so we have a winner. We have a winner because this is close enough for me. This is King Arthur's Heir, developed by Mark Benioff in 1982. So, which means that I know you probably already have one of these.
I do, so you can give it to
So feel free to give it to someone else. This is one of our trailhead.
I'm already wearing one, so
I'll give it to someone else. Up to you.
Yeah.
Up to you. So let me just go here, and then I'll be stuck here in the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, our forward-looking statement. Please use only currently available information and features when making any purchasing decisions. I will be making forward-looking statements today. So let me start by discussing what our ISV Technical Enablement team, and let me just set some context. For 17 years, our birthday was like a couple weeks ago, we've been a cloud computing pioneer and evangelist, and we've been doing that through a new technology model with our metadata platform, a new business model with software as a service, and a philanthropic model with our one-on-one model. Anyone here is part of our Pledge 1% organization? Any partners contributing to giving back to charity, anything like that? Nice to know. And we've been doing that through the implementation of what we call the customer success platform, starting with our sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, our community cloud, wave analytics, IoT cloud, and finally the app cloud, which allows you to actually create your applications on our platform, and specifically applications that run on Force.com and are provided to our customers through the App Exchange, the #1 enterprise marketplace. These applications ultimately fall under three categories. They are add-ons to, say, the Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. So you have companies like New Voice Media, Axiom Distribution Engine, vertical apps like Viva, Velocity, and Philips, and horizontal apps that serve a particular horizontal need, like ClickSoftware, Sage, and Fairsail. All of these applications can actually have some IP that actually sits outside of the Force.com platform, and thanks to our APIs, we can actually integrate it into the platform and provide some additional value to our customers by doing that. Ultimately, the fact that we actually have all of these applications running within the same platform provides and supports the concept of a silo-free enterprise where everything is tightly connected together. And if we think about it from following the 80-20 rule, we provide 80% of what's needed for any enterprise app. Meaning we have a trusted infrastructure that supports authentication, core capabilities, typically the stuff that you know about Force.com platform, so Apex, Visualforce, Lightning components, all of that. And finally, for ISV specifically, distribution technologies around licensing and the App Exchange itself, of course. And finally, ISVs will tend to focus on what actually provides the innovation on their application, meaning that they will focus on what actually matters for them. Now, what we actually do as a ISV technical evangelist, and I have two people from my team here today, is focusing on three specific topics. Partner onboarding, meaning that we actually onboard new partners onto the ISV program alongside our partner account managers. ISV partner management, meaning that we work with existing partners to support either their existing apps or creating new apps from a technical standpoint. And we are ultimately evangelists for the App Cloud for ISVs. And we also participate in a number of ISV initiatives. We are organizing the partner forum here in London. By the way, anyone registered for the London World Tour already? Okay, that should be 100% people. So please go ahead and register. Anyone attending Dreamforce as well? Perfect. So we tend to participate in these events by organizing the ISV specific technical sessions. And in addition to that, we also have a lot of initiatives going on in terms of Lightning. And we have ISVT expert groups that specialize in certain areas of the platform to better provide support to partners that have those specific needs. Now, in my case, in particular, I manage a team of 2 technical evangelists that are focused on registered partners, so partners that are now starting their onboarding process with Salesforce, and I am pretty much dedicated for the rest of the time in supporting Sage with their Sage Live app, which is an innovative accounting solution that runs completely on the app cloud and and tightly integrated with our Salesforce ecosystem. So let me move on to our discussion around Lightning. And let's start by thinking about where we are today. Last year we've launched Lightning Experience. Now, are you guys actively using Lightning Experience in your own orgs? Perfect. So our goal is to actually get more and more users to actually use Lightning Experience on a daily basis. And with Lightning Experience, we've managed to also create a foundation that allows us to do quite a few interesting things. So Lightning Experience is built entirely using Lightning components. So our R&D team are using the same technology that you are when creating the Lightning Experience, or the one.app that you see there. We have the Lightning App Builder, which I'll discuss in a bit. The Lightning Exchange, which allows companies to use the App Builder to load components onto their org. And the Lightning Design System, which provides the styling guidelines for Lightning Experience and any apps that would run in Lightning Experience. So Lightning components, as you know, are building blocks for applications that can be easily integrated into customer applications and effectively can extend things like the record home pages within Lightning Experience, the actual homepage of Lightning Experience itself, and can ultimately communicate across components and provide some additional benefits around performance, scale, and reusability. Customers can actually use the component exchange to load components into their app and create apps that will benefit of these components for Lightning Experience, Salesforce One, and the communities using the community builder. And we've also published, as I mentioned, the Lightning Design System with a number of styling guidelines that you can leverage. And you'll see that a lot of partners are now starting to use Lightning Design System because it makes their process much faster, because they won't need to worry about maintaining a design system of their own. And we've already discussed the App Builder again for Salesforce One, Lightning Experience starting in summer 16, and the Community Builder, which is already available. And with this, we are providing a stream of innovation across the development chain. So we have developers focusing on creating new Lightning components, which can be styled using Lightning Design System, provided to admins in the Lightning Exchange, and they can then use them using the App Builder in their own customer apps and make them available to users in either Salesforce One or Lightning Experience. And you'll see that ISVs are focusing on trying to become more Lightning ready, because Lightning Experience is the future of our Salesforce UX. That's where we're going to be investing significantly going forward. Customers will require a rich component ecosystem to leverage all of that innovation that developers and ISVs will come up with and provide via the App Builder, and some additional benefits that are related with the Lightning components specifically. So where are we today in terms of applications? We have 140 plus Lightning ready apps. So this means that these apps can actually run within Lightning Experience without any issues, and users can actually do most of their activities using these apps from the context of using Lightning Experience. And in addition to that, we also have over 50 Lightning components that are available for customers to use, again, for Salesforce One, for Lightning Experience, and for the Community Builder, straight there in the Component Exchange. Now, I have a challenge for you this year, which is to ask for your help in increasing these numbers. And specifically for EMEA, I like to see how we can get to 100 Lightning-ready apps or components. And EMEA is a very large region. Of course, we only have a tiny fraction of our partners here today, but I believe this is more than achievable because we simply need to convert some of the apps to Lightning-ready. In some cases, that's actually very easy to do. And we can also contribute towards creating new components that we can make available to customers. Let me now give you a quick update on where we are from a roadmap perspective. Summer 16 is coming very soon, and we will continue to focus on providing additional features for Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. We will make the App Builder GA. Currently, you are able to use the App Builder in a, say, a developer org, and you'll actually be able to use the App Builder to customize the record homepage in Lightning Experience, the Lightning Experience homepage itself, and you can actually package those configurations if you are an ISV and include them into your app. Going forward, we'll continue to invest in additional features around service in Sales Cloud, and note in Spring 17, Lightning Console and Lightning Service Console there, again using Lightning components. So that's another area where ISV partners can start to think about if you want to invest in that particular area. At the same time, from a Lightning component standpoint, we will continue to provide additional customization and more capabilities, more tooling as well, and by Spring 17, we hope that to be in a position where the App Exchange is actually tightly integrated within Lightning Experience, and partners in the ecosystem will be able to leverage features around branding that will make their apps even more tightly integrated into Lightning Experience. So let's start with that discussion around how we can actually migrate apps to Lightning. And let's think about what an app actually is. An app, as you know, is no more than a set of components. The issue from our standpoint is which UX technologies we've actually used in that app. And the reality is that so far we've been using pretty much Visualforce whenever we want to customize our application. And we've either used Visualforce using some of our standard Visualforce components, or we use Visualforce as a container for a JavaScript application. We are now expanding that with providing some additional capabilities around Lightning components, or even a combination of Visualforce with Lightning components. And we'll see that these two actually blend together quite well. Now, let's look at some of the aspects here around Visualforce. Everyone knows that Visualforce works. It's going to continue to be fully supported, and some things like, for instance, email templates and PDFs we will only support these with Visualforce going forward. But with Lightning components, we actually have native capabilities that Visualforce components will never have. So we will definitely try to push more and more applications to start using Lightning components. Finally, there's a combination there around Visualforce and Lightning components, which is actually ideal if you want to start building Lightning components, but you actually want to ensure that customers using Salesforce Classic still have access to their app. So we'll see what our options are there. So in terms of customization, this is what we have today for the various types of combinations of or user experiences that we may have. For Lightning Experience, we can use Lightning components natively. We can use a standalone Lightning app, and starting in summer, we'll actually be able to use the App Builder with drag and drop capabilities for those Lightning components. We can also actually expose those components using Visualforce, even though you would generally not do that because Lightning Experience actually uses them natively. Salesforce One Mobile has for some time supported Lightning components natively, and it will continue to do that. It also supports Visualforce and Lightning component tabs as well. Finally, if you look at that bit there for Salesforce Classic, you'll see that there is actually no way of exposing Lightning components in Classic unless you use Visualforce using Lightning out. So this is actually an approach that I've been recommending to some of our partners. If you actually want to go down the route of starting to develop your app using Lightning components, think about how you can actually expose those components using Visualforce. This allows you to actually have a single development cycle and simply expose them as required. And then we'll see additional things around communities, mobile SDK. I will not focus too much on those. But ultimately, one challenge that we have today, if we want to migrate Visualforce, which is our main challenge here, into Classic, is the fact that if we use a standard Visualforce component like this, and you'll see that I'm using Apex detail there to mimic the account page layout, this actually renders using a classic styling within Lightning Experience. And there's really no way around this now. Actually, recreating this to use Lightning Design System is a significant challenge, simply because Lightning Design System does not provide you
John, sorry, can you
with
speak
the...
up a bit?
You can't hear me?
A little louder.
Okay, I'll try to speak a bit louder. And I was just saying that if you try to use Lightning Design System directly within Visualforce to try to replicate something like that, which is just our standard page within Lightning Experience, you will find a number of challenges around the fact that we are not providing, for instance, some JavaScript logic that you would need in order to mimic some of that behavior there. So this is like, for me, the number one challenge in terms of migrating apps. The fact that if you are using standard Visualforce components, you will not be able to actually get them to a point where they blend seamlessly within Lightning Experience. And you'll see that some of our own configuration pages within Lightning Experience actually use precisely this approach here, but we are working on this. Now, our vision there is that at some point in the future, we will actually do the restyling for you. So if you have a page like this, we will simply apply the correct style sheet depending on which user experience is being used, and therefore we will render something like this much closer to a layout like that. Now, going back to how we can actually use Visualforce within Lightning Experience. So we can still use Visualforce in many places throughout Lightning Experience, from the app launcher or the customizable dashboard that we have today. We can embed Visualforce pages on a standard Lightning page, launching it as a quick action, displaying it in displaying a page when overriding standard buttons and links, and creating custom buttons that actually launch a Visualforce page. So a lot of these are very similar to Classic, but there are still some exceptions. So how does Visualforce and Lightning actually work together? As I mentioned, you can actually expose Lightning components inside the Visualforce page, which will work fine within Salesforce Classic. Gradually, the ideal scenario should be migrating from Visualforce to Lightning components, unless you're trying to migrate something that cannot be achieved using Lightning components. And as a fallback option for some scenarios, you can also expose Visualforce pages as an iframe within a Lightning component, and there are some specific scenarios where you may want to do this. Now, if you still want to use Visualforce within Lightning Experience, what we recommend is that you try to do that using the Lightning Design System. And that's why this is actually the number one recommendation for using Visualforce within Lightning Experience. This means, however, that we would generally be talking about Visualforce pages that are actually acting as containers for JavaScript apps, because those are where we can easily apply Salesforce Lightning Design System. I would not recommend that you actually make any changes to pages that rely on standard components, because we do hope at some point to actually do that restyling for you in the future. Focus on understanding which are the core use cases for your app, and focus on addressing those with a strategy that will allow that part of the app to be gradually blended into Lightning Experience, and then focus on following our navigation best practices that are specific to Lightning Experience. And all of this information is within our trailheads around using Visualforce within Lightning Experience. Finally, in Spring 16, we've made some changes to one important feature, which actually allows you to dynamically detect in runtime whether a user is using Salesforce Classic or Lightning Experience or even Salesforce One or any of the other older Salesforce themes. This actually allows you to create dynamic code that responds to this specific experience that you're using. So you can actually have a Visualforce page that renders using Lightning Design System in Lightning Experience, or renders simply using the standard styling, classic styling when rendered in Classic. And the same approach can actually be used in Lightning components as well. So we actually have global variables that you can use straight from Visualforce, or Apex methods, which do exactly the same thing and can be used with, say, Lightning components. Now let's look at just an example of approach of how a partner or a customer would look at how we could migrate some of those Visualforce pages to Lightning. So if I had a Visualforce page, again, that consists mostly of standard components, but people rarely use it. It's more like a back-end configuration thing. I'll just leave it as it is. Again, at some point, those should actually be migrated automatically, we hope. Otherwise, start to gradually see how those pages can be transformed in a way that actually includes components. And these can be Visualforce components that at some point are converted into Lightning components, which are embedded within that Visualforce page. Ultimately, the end goal should actually be to fully convert into Lightning with Lightning Design System. And if you still want to support Classic, you can always use that Lightning component and surface it within Classic. If you have a container app with Visualforce and JavaScript, you can immediately think about using Lightning Design System. It should be much easier than using an approach like the one here on the left-hand side. Focus on restyling, and ultimately focus on componentizing your solution, or even using Lightning components alongside your existing app and integrating the two. The approach for Visualforce Mobile is a bit more straightforward. We strongly recommend moving to Lightning components whenever possible. And finally, just to recap some of the concepts that we had here previously, focus on trying to identify those areas of the application or the page or the Visualforce page that can actually be componentized. So moving away from a page-centric design to a component-based design that can easily be migrated over to Lightning components, which is ultimately what we want. And in order to do all of this, we believe that we have a few things that we can do to help. So our ISV Technical Enablement team, and specifically our Lightning TE expert group, has created an org that contains a lot of content on these various combinations around Visualforce with Lightning Design System, Visualforce with Lightning component embedded, Lightning component embedding a Visualforce page, and all sorts of variations that you guys can use as a reference. And I am going to provide you the code for all of that after the presentation today, so I'll just upload it to GitHub and provide you the link to that. In addition to that, we have lots of resources that you guys can leverage. So our Salesforce group at Stack Exchange, we can leverage. If you are an ISV, please also reach out to us and we can help you there. We have 4 Lightning webinars in the partner community that you can refer to that cover this and much more material. Our Lightning Components chatter group also in the partner community. Many trailheads around Lightning Components, Lightning Experience, and Visualforce. Lightning documentation also pretty good. If there's anything missing, please reach out to us and we'll ensure that it gets updated. The success community, and finally community blogs like yours blog that we have over there.
Sorry, John. Who are the other ISV technical evangelists?
Well, let me actually just take the opportunity to introduce some of the technical evangelists here from the UK. So we have Sam Faulkner there, and we have Laura Kuliskouskaite there as well. But we have a larger team across EMEA, right? So reach out to me if you have anything that's ISV specific where we can help. And again, feel free to reach out to me after the event. I'll provide you my contact details and everything. And we have, just so you know, we have around 40 people globally supporting all sorts of ISVs. In EMEA alone, we have 11. So we will definitely want to work very closely with you guys, not only to reach that target of 100 components from EMEA partners on the App Exchange or on the Component Exchange, but also because ultimately we want you guys to succeed. You know, we want our customers to succeed. We want partners to create applications that are successful on our platform. So we're very happy to help you guys with that.